Hello everyone. It's good to be here on this, whenever this is, Thursday afternoon. We're here in the lovely world of Warcraft. Just trying to see what's going on. Just gonna wait around for a couple minutes for folks to show up. Whoever's here is here. Whoever is not is not. We'll be recording this for archival purposes. For those of you that actually are here, just let me know if you have any questions in chat. As you can see here, my name is Dwight E. I am a paladin on the Arthas server. Colway is my name. And we're here today to talk to you about the basics of raids. Not really. We're here to talk about raid logs and how to make yourself a better player. We're going to be analyzing some logs. We're going to be taking a look at what to look for in logs, how to work through your basic log and that kind of thing. And then from there, we're going to take questions from the audience, if the audience has any questions. And finally, we'll talk about things to consider going forward. I forgot, I realized didn't have sound effects enabled, so not that you can really hear anything right now besides consecration, because this is what I listen to on raid nights, because why not? So again, my name is Dwighty. I am a paladin on Arthas. Character name is M. Colbay, as you can see down here. And we're going to be talking today about raids. Not really. Raid logs. Ah, there it is. I am glad I can help somebody cream their pants. That is exactly what I am here for. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Otherwise, we're probably about to jump into it here. Alright, so for today we're going to be taking a look at Warcraft logs. Warcraft logs is pretty much the premier site that logs go up to. The way it works is whenever you're inside of your raid, someone in your raid, and me, my guild, South Sea Buccaneers, it's me raiding, you'll see / combat log, or my add-on automatically enables it. It starts the combat log, starts tracking everything, essentially gives you an idea of what SCADA would be giving you here, except a lot more detailed. So while SCADA and Recount are able to give you the base statistics, and you can get some good ideas off of that, really where it comes in is with the log analysis. So in taking a look at the log analysis, obviously you're presented with this screen. This is from our most recent raid. It says Monday, August 31st, but don't believe that in the slightest. It actually came from Tuesday, September 1st. And what we have here is we have a number of kills. We we were working on progression this night, and we're going to take a look at a couple of fights here. So the first one that we're going to take a look at for Yux is Iron Reaver on Heroic. Alright, first thing that you're greeted with here is obviously your general overview. And the damage done by source in this portion here shows you your DPS and also some of the your team's DPS. Shows you your healers, damage taken by events, and obviously people who died. Take a look at the damage done tab. You can get your basic detailed damage done statistics. You can also check sort by done to enemy and done by ability. Done by ability takes a while because it's going to try and load a bunch of things in the background. Obviously, there's also like 8 billion abilities it wants to work its way through as well. Damage taken is for your tanks, generally. It also gives you a way to triage who's taking far too much damage during fights. Healing is your healers. Healing also shows off if you're letting go of certain triggered abilities at the same time. For example, this was very useful in working with the blast furnace in the last tier, seeing whatever engineers got off upgrades. The boss tab is an interesting tab. It's when you first click it, there's a lot of information here. It shows you everybody's buffs and the uptime on the buffs. It plays a very interesting role in learning to analyze your fights as you go into specific characters. Same with debuffs. Death is obviously when people died. It shows you the killing blows. Interrupts is interrupts. Dispels is dispels. Resources, you can check hit points. Attack power, spell power, resolve, anything you want to check out here. And finally, if you really wanted to pay attention to what people are casting, click the cast tab. So we're going to start out and we're going to take a look here at a DPS chart. The DPS chart here is essentially a way to diagnose what you're doing yourself. You can take a look at your DPS, like going with Qpapa for this fight. You can take a look at your DPS throughout stages of the fight, and you can also tell where things happened. So you can see at the very beginning of the fight, Qpapa jacked up his DPS to over 200k burst. Good for him. Jag off. And then it slowly settled into about the 75k range-ish for the remainder of the fight. And obviously up and down depending on whether or not he had to move or not. You can see most of his damage came from aim shot, chimera shot, auto shot, kill shot, working its way down. One of the first things that you can do to break down a fight log for yourself is to take a look at your casts. In looking at your cast, you can get an idea of exactly how many times per fight you're casting an item. For example, in this fight, he's looking at 62 casts of aim shot. This is one of the best times that he's done an Iron Reaver kill for Yux. Let's go look at the kill last week. Again, we can see a marked improvement. I don't know if this is when he got tier or 4-piece on the tier or not, but you can see a marked improvement in this fight when he goes from 54 to 64 cast, 62 cast. 10 more casts for slightly less damage overall, but still, more casts is always a good thing in about a same length fight. You can also check and see how it's doing per enemy. Obviously in this fight there's not a lot of damage that needs to go outside of Iron Reaver, except during the Fell Bomb stage. In this fight we're going to take a look also here at damage taken by everybody. Obviously your tanks, for the most part, should be in your top 2, barring anything crazy. The other thing that you should be looking at, though, is in this fight we seem to have a lot of people taking a lot of damage. So what we can do is we can check damage taken from ability, and we can see that, oh, hey, artillery put out a lot of damage this time around. Let's check it out. And clicking on our damage done by artillery, we see that the tanks were still at the top 2, but suddenly there are a whole lot of people with somewhere around 1 million to 1.5 million damage. That shouldn't be happening. Taking 3 hits of artillery, 3 hits of artillery, 3 hits of artillery. What that means is that people were standing in artillery whenever the tanks were trying to run away with it, or the tanks were being bad with it. Take your pick. Regardless, it shows that artillery was a problem on this fight. Other things that you can check out is healing done to friendlies. Taking a look here, we can see again that the tanks were taking the most healing. It's generally, again, the way it should be. But a lot more was being obviously shuffled to people who had been taking a lot of artillery damage. On the buffs tab, we're going to take a look at the paladin buffs, specifically my buffs, because I want to talk about how you can check, spot check some of your rotational problems and spot check some of your uptimes. So, for example, Sacred Shield is a buff that is cast by paladins. It essentially grants you a shield, lasts up to 30 seconds, and it's a 6-second cooldown. What this means is that this should be up the entire fight, provided you're not wasting it on certain GCDs. I had a 71% uptime, which is okay, not really. As you can see, there was a large uptime in between about 2 minutes and 30 seconds the whole way up to 3 minutes or thereabouts. That's a problem. So I obviously know I need to do better in my Sacred Shield uptime. However, taking a look at my Shield of the Righteous uptime, not too bad. Well, how do you know that it's not too bad? Well, good question. Let's go compare it to last week. Up from 19.95. As you can see, last week I was very bad at certain abilities, so I'm going to call that an overall improvement for the week. Other things that you can check, and I'm going to show you a paladin specific one, but other things that you can check are here on the resources tab. Paladins have a resource called Holy Power, and it pulls up to 5. And you can see where you gain certain hit points or certain Holy Power. And it shows that it's wasted because it can't go more than 5. In this fight, I had 17 wasted out of a grand total of 79. 17 out of 79. Not the best. As you can see, I had a long string here with pulled Holy Power, a long string here with pulled Holy Power. Generally, you try, as a prot paladin, you want to be trying to dump Holy Power unless you know stuff is coming. You can also check something. Like healer mana. Let's take a look at Pants. As you can see, Pants didn't really have a mana problem on that fight. Taking a look at our Iskar kill, though, Pants was almost bottomed out. Pants was bottomed out for a solid minute and some odd of the fight. It's generally not a good thing. Let's check another one of our healers. Trudge was almost bottomed out. Fuji still had a lot left over. So what that means is that Pants was out, and a lot of our other 2 healers still had good throughput to hold us through. Ideally, you wanted all 3 of your healers to end up, or all 4 of your healers to end up at about the same level. As you can see, the other healer here was mostly bottomed out. At this point, I'm going to stop and see if anyone has any questions. And generally, you're not watching the logs during a fight because stuff is going on. You can't have your mind in 3 different places. You're trying to spank as many things as possible. It just doesn't work like that. So, you do what you can with this. But the other thing that the logs have that is interesting is the ability to watch replays. Replays allow you to watch a fight and essentially watch casting. For example, we can watch the fight here and see how much damage I'm doing. Switch to another character and check their damage. Check the boss. See what his casts are doing. It also shows you marks. And it shows you positioning. So you can check and see where exactly things went bad. This is useful for determining what kills stuff. So for example, if I go to slightly before our first death, we can see who died. So in this one, Q Papa died. Why did Q Papa die? So let's look at him. We can see at 18 seconds he picks up phantasmal winds. You can see who the winds are on here, and you can see where the ball is. The ball's being passed, Mirage is holding it. Past the Sif. Oh, and there's a dead Q Papa. Sorry. This also shows you where problems can be. Question coming from the audience. How can I compare 2 people on a fight side by side, specifically comparing the number of casts and % of damage or healing from ability? Let me see if I can play out the scenario that you're looking for here. On Iskar, you want to do a comparison of 2 people's damage, specifically based upon number of casts. First way to do this is by using the All Warlocks filter. That way you can see both of their damages as it goes here. And then split it by ability. But okay, so let me see if this is what you want. You want to take a look at, for example, say, Edda's Immolate versus Tarty's Immolate. Is that what you're looking for, Mr. Dykeman? So you want the grid more than the graph. Okay. What I should have done is prefetch some of these questions, so I apologize if we're kind of doing this on the fly here. All right, so to answer your question, not within the logs application itself, and I will give it its slight knock there. There's probably a way to do it through regex. I'm not the best at sorting it by doing it in terms of regex. However, it does have a nifty little thing. What you can do, pardon me while I pull up the window capture. Screw it, let's just make it a monitor capture. What you can do is get the CSV for each one of them. In this one, Edda is on the left. I should confirm that. Sorry. Yeah, Edda's on the left, Tarty on the right. From there, you can then do your typical good old comparison. And again, that's done by downloading the CSV and doing your analysis that way. So essentially, you use this as a glorified query maker to bring you what you need into Excel. Again, like I said, there's probably a regex to pull it I couldn't tell you what it would be without sitting down and working on it for about 2 hours. My regex isn't that good. Glad to help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video here. I'm going to post it up for archival purposes. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a message. Otherwise, for those of you that are here, thanks for tuning in. And I'm sure we'll be back with something else in the future.